Welcome to Toffee TV. This video is brought to you in association with The Athletic. They currently have a fantastic deal on 7-day free trial and then 50% off your yearly subscription. After that, lots of great articles at the moment. One we'll be talking about just in a second. All about Everton, all about the Premier League, all about football, all about any sport around the world, a lot of the American sports as well. Everton have the dedicated writers of Paddy Boyland and Greg O'Keefe. They also have a podcast. No clickbait, no pop-ups, just good stories that you want to read about concerning especially Everton, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. So there is a story on there at the moment about Davide Ancelotti, who has been like the forgotten man of Carlo Ancelotti's new reign at Everton. Obviously, lots of talk about Carlo himself, lots of talk about Duncan Ferguson, because obviously that's what we all hoped for. We all hoped he'd become the assistant manager, but David is also one of the assistants and has sort of, just gone under the radar a little bit.
Has he?
The answer to that is yes.
Okay, fair enough. Just asking you.
Yeah.
You've asked me, I'm just asking you, has he gone under the radar? Yeah, he's been obviously with Carlo at Real Madrid, he's with Carlo at Bayern Munich, with Carlo at Napoli. This is 30 years of age. Obviously hasn't been a successful Premier League footballer, or a successful top league footballer like his dad was, rather than Serie A or whatever, and he's took a coaching route. Obviously been around Carlo for a number of years and seen his dad working at these top clubs, managing, and got the bug for it. I know he was helping his dad from a young age, and picking up things, and took his coaching badges, and has got a UEFA B licence, UEFA A licence, got top of the class, I think, in both of those, and, scored highly. So there's a fellow who's very experienced, been around some top clubs,
Top players.
Real Madrid, outstanding when Ronaldo was there, and won La Decima, didn't he? And when Ancelotti was there, so very successful, and has come into Everton now, and like you say, he's one of the assistant managers alongside Duncan Ferguson, and by all accounts, has settled in really well with the club, and players kind of like him. I think I've seen something saying that Duncan Ferguson had given his seal of approval, so that was a big thing for everybody there, who were maybe a bit wary of who's this fella coming in with his dad, and you're always going to get the nepotism shouts, of course you are, and there might be some validity in that, in terms of he's been given a leg up, so to speak, because of his dad. But listen, anywhere in the world, nepotism can reign. It can be in any industry, and the fact is, he's a coach in his own right. He's a qualified coach. How far he goes in the game will be determined with how well he does, how he continues to develop, how he continues to grow. It's one thing having all the technical side, and the academic side of coaching. Can you get your points across to the players? And he's worked at those big clubs, and he seems to be doing okay.
I think from the nepotism point of view, I think obviously it will be seen as a negative for some people, but for me, I can only see it as a positive, because he's been around those other clubs. Carlo seems to want to surround himself with maybe not the traditional way of having coaches, where it's like you have your assistant manager and then you have like a couple of first team coaches. He's obviously put him as one of his assistants, and Duncan one of his assistants, and that to me makes perfect sense, because obviously with Duncan you're getting the tradition of the club, and this is something that Carlo Ancelotti says that he likes to have. It's something that he did when he went to Chelsea. When he went to Chelsea, the first thing they asked him to do was hold off bringing in a coaching staff. They said, we've got good people here, we just want to bring you in, give it a month. And he enjoyed having those people in with him, who knew about the players that were already there, were good coaches as well.
Ray Wilkins.
Ray Wilkins, obviously, right next to him there, obviously spoke Italian as well. That would help. Knew the players, newest edition, which is a big how to do things, how not to do things. And you know, we've heard what Duncan has done, and Duncan taking him out, you know, for a meal and for a drink and stuff like that. But I think having a son there as well is really important, just from the point of settling into the club, having someone right there, straight away you can trust at the club, someone you can just talk to every day, just whether it be picking up the phone or in the same building as you, and going through that journey with someone from the start. And when you, okay, listen, a lot of coaches come in, managers, coaches come in and bring their own staff with them, and that is beneficial, but sometimes maybe it pushes. Well, we know it pushed Duncan Ferguson's nose out of place when you know, Marco Silva was here, because it was almost like a little, you know, little
a few people's.
Well, yeah, but it was like a little clique away. Whereas because David's working with Duncan and stuff, it's more for me. It feels more integrated. And as you mentioned there, this fella has worked with some of the best players in the world. You know, his dad's one of the best coaches we'll have seen. Okay, he hasn't become a player, but we've seen in the last few years a generation of coaches who weren't players at the highest level, who weren't fantastic, amazing players. You know, Arsene Wenger and Mourinho, two that spring to mind straight away, weren't necessarily players, but they were students of the game and understood. You know, so while other players were playing the game,
Klopp played, but he wasn't a top player.
No, he wasn't, and he become a student of the game, and I think that's important as well, understanding the psyche of players. So, for me, you know, I think, you know, because Carlo himself is such a good coach and has been such a good manager, I think, you know, he can only learn off his dad and become a top coach in his own right.
Yeah, definitely. You hope to take everything, little bits and pieces that you learn from every coach with you, and develop on your journey, if you like, as a coach. Working with top players from a young age, seeing how they behave, gives you that education, gives you that experience, that when you move on to other clubs, you can then judge those players by the standards of top players. If someone that's worked with Cristiano Ronaldo, someone who's gone and worked with the likes of Lewandowski at Bayern and James Rodriguez when he was there, and you know, Thomas Muller and lots of players like that. Real Madrid littered with them. Gone and worked with people at Napoli, you know, good players over at Napoli, Koulibaly and Allen, Zielinski, you know, good players. Fabian Ruiz, you know, all good footballers in their own right. And you know, and he's a modern coach as well. I think Everton have almost got the perfect mix, if you like. You've got Carlo Ancelotti, who's one of the, if not the most decorated manager, certainly one of the top managers in world football. He's 60. And then you've got Duncan Ferguson, who's 48. It's a good age, low, you know, Premier League experience, coach for the last 6 years. You know, worked with Premier League footballers. He's had a few games in charge as well. He's played in the Premier League as well. And then you've got David, who's 30, who is younger again, you know, and half the age of his dad, and bring, you know, these new coaching methods. And if you can kind of mash it all together, you've almost got a perfect mix. And then just building on what you said, having his son here, and he's come over, he's also got his son-in-law here, of course, who's the fitness fella, because, you know, which means his daughter's over here. Then that's a massive thing as well for someone coming in, a new manager coming into the area. You know, it's been a lot of top clubs. It probably wouldn't have been an issue for Carlo anyway because of the way he is, but to have those family members here with him, it means it's very easy to settle. It's not, you're not going to get like, say, Sarri's situation at Chelsea when he was like missing home and he just wanted to go back, and you know, you're not getting Mourinho in a hotel in the Lowry for 2 years while his family are in London, and you know, Marco Silva back to Portugal every week or every other week for a weekend, you know, the minute the game's finished on a plane home. You know, you're not getting that Koeman, you know, couldn't wait to get to his villa. I don't think that was to see his family, just think to see whoever was around, and or else me a port, you know, we didn't like his house that much. So the thing with Ancelotti is he's very quickly come in. We've seen him around the city. We've seen him in Bootle Newstrand going to
Well, that's
the key.
It's the cultural
that
hub of the city.
And we've seen him on Crosby Beach going for walks and looking at Anthony Gormley statues and all that. He's got his house, he's settled. And these will have helped that and be part of that as well. And the article says, you know, like you said before, he's well respected now at Everton. People feel like he's got the club. He's like his dad. He's approachable. There hasn't been a barrier. They've all gone in and just been down to earth. This is what the article's saying. They've been quite down to earth and just got on with it. And even, you know, we've seen the first game when Everton scored and he jumps off the bench and he's jumping on the back of his dad. And Carlo looks as if he's going social distancing, please, as he's swinging off his eyebrow. But that's good because it gives you that, it gives supporters that thing of like, they bought into it immediately, they want to do well, and they'll want to do, of course they'll want to do well. And this fella eventually will want to be a head coach. He's watched his dad do it. He's not going to just want to be an assistant. I'm saying he'll want to be a head coach at Everton. Maybe he will in the future, I don't know. But the hunger and the desire is there, and it's there because he's got himself in that position. Okay, his dad might have given him a leg up, but he had to get the qualifications, and they're not easy to get.
No,
and like we've just said, he's coached a lot of the top players, and our players seem to like him as well. So it seems to be, you know, all working.
Yeah, it's not easy to be a coach, and it certainly can't be easy when your dad is who he is.
Yeah.
And then you throw in that thing of, you know, did he get this job because his dad is the manager, sort of thing. So it's not easy, and it's not easy if you haven't played the game either, because players will hold you to that, or you've showed your medals, what have you done? But I think because he is sort of 30 and he is around the same age as some of like the senior players, some of the younger players will look at him and go, well, you're not that old, so you're in and around, you understand something that. And it's funny because it's just literally sprung into my head now. And it was something that got said at like the Howard's Way Premier when we were there, and they brought John Clinkard on, and they said, well, he was the same age as us. He was a physio. It was all quite new, this physio thing. He was the same ages, and he liked going out for a bevy with us and that kind, you know.
Yeah.
But the point being he was one of us. He wasn't like this half fella or whatever who he said, they were like, he's one of us, and they still have that thing. They accepted him as part of the team, you know, because he was one of them. And I think that maybe that could be something with this as well, is that with him being that age, the younger players will look at him and go, well, he's not that old. And the players around the, you know, as I said, the more senior players will probably can talk to him on the same level, you know, kids the same age, moving from countries, that kind of thing. A lot of players will look at that and identify that as one, you know, as what they've had to go through, and that all helps humanise people. That all, you know, because he is a coach. He is, and this is where it does become quite funny though, because obviously, I wonder whether Carlo listen to me, Carlo looks like the most approachable man in the world. He looks so nice. He looks like he, you know, could be your granddad. But obviously that's not going to work if you're a manager. But when you listen to what people say about him, where he, certainly after games, he doesn't say much to the players. He leaves them to do it, and comes back a couple of days later when whatever's settled is settled. And I just wonder what that relationship is like with players sometimes who might look at him going, will you be the snitch? You be the grass? So that could be slightly worrying, but at the same time, I suppose you've just got to drop that barrier and just let things.
Well, that was what was levelled at him at Napoli. I think it was Napoli. Players didn't feel like they could go to him if they've had an issue with Carlo, because obviously it's his son. But we've got Duncan there, haven't we? And so you'd like to think that the players would go to Duncan. Or one of the physios or whatever, do you know what I mean? I know Carlo's got his own team, but then you could have that with anyone, couldn't you? That's with people.
Trust, isn't it?
That's people just looking for something, though, people who are happy with it.
And I always think that, though, if anyone does go to a coach, they're still trying to get to the manager.
Of course, yeah.
But they're just trying to do it in a softened way. Or can you have a word with him about this? You know, I don't really feel comfortable going in and knocking on his door. Would you, you know, when people talk about Howard Kendall and Colin Harvey, a lot of people say it didn't click into place with Howard till Colin come. And Colin, you know, a lot of people will say, well, Colin Harvey was the barrier, but also Colin Harvey was horrible on the training ground. He was horrible, ruthless, and Howard Kendall stood back and let him. And that was the thing that whipped a lot of people into shape. So it can work in a lot of different ways. It just seems to be something that works for certainly Carlo, or as recently. And as you said before, I think, you know, the fact that that team there now seems to all be together in the backroom staff. You know, there's a group he trusts. He's obviously got a son-in-law as well, and so having your son-in-law and your son, that means your daughter's happy, means your grandkids are happy. You're all in the same place. You're going to the same. You know, you're going to share those experiences, whether it be of your home life or where you go out. You know, restaurants and all. And you know what? Those things are so important in getting a manager. Like you just said it, you don't want to see your manager at any opportunity jumping on a plane to go back to his family. You do not want to see that. It's not good for anyone, I don't think. These managers, you go, yeah, I'm gonna go over. No, you got to come lock, stock and barrel. You've got to bring your kids. You've got to, and I understand the idea. You know, we don't want to uproot my kids, I want to uproot my family for a couple of years, or I'll go and work here and I'll go back and that's not just football. That happens in all kinds of industries. But I think for football, and listen, some football managers will say, well, I like that because football is so all encompassing that I'd rather my family might as well be in a different country for the amount I'm going to see them. But you just wonder how long that can last, and how much of a strain that takes.
You don't want the distraction. You want them to feel settled. That's the biggest thing. And you can get your manager settled and then he buys into it, and then the family buy into it, then you're all in it together, aren't you? It's not a case of, does he really want to be here? Is it just a stopgap for him? And I think Carlo's kind of proved that he does want to be here.
And I also think that's helped us get Carlo in the first place, because, you know, Carlo's just left the job in Italy, and it's like, I'm going on holiday and I'll come back next year. Obviously Everton spoke to him, but having that support network must have made this decision easy for him to say, no, I'll just go back to England, it's fine, I'll go to a city I've never been to, never lived in, you know, because I'll have that support. I'll bring me son, I'll bring me son-in-law, I'll bring me, you know, that means all the family's coming, so there'll be no problem. So that must have made the decision a lot easier for him.
Oh yeah, because then he hasn't got to go and take 6 months off, which was the plan, wasn't it? He was going to go back to his house in Canada with his wife, who's obviously Canadian, and they were going to live there for a bit, and he was going to recharge the batteries, but he wanted to get straight back in it, and he will have spoke to them, and I'm quite sure they were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get into the Premier League, let's all go over together and have a new adventure. And obviously it's been curtailed by what's going on at the moment, but, you know, barring the Chelsea game, the signs were quite good, really. I know we've had a couple of setbacks, but you're always going to get these bumps in the road, because it's the same team that, you know, that was getting spanked in the derby match and losing in injury time against Leicester and stuff before Christmas. So no one knews in there of any, you know. So it's a case now of whenever it starts again, and it could potentially be June now behind closed doors. Then we'll see what happens. But going forward, it looks good. Let's hope it carries on. But in terms of him, you know, he's got the bit between his teeth. He's a young man. He's very ambitious as well. And it just looks a nice little setup on the coaching side. So all we can do is put our faith in it and hope that that it works. But
yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you want to check that article out, make sure you go over to The Athletic. They've got a deal on at the moment, a 7-day free trial with 50% off your yearly subscription. After that, you might as well take it out. It's a week's trial. See what happens. If you don't like it, then you don't have to continue it. The link is in the description for that, as we said before. Some great articles on there. As for us, make sure you give this video a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you want more great videos, join us over on Patreon. If you join us on Patreon and you buy anything from our shop, you get 25% off at the moment off your mugs, your t-shirts and your hoodies. So Why not?
Why wouldn't you?
Why? That's basically like a free trial for a month as well. If you're buying a t-shirt already or one of our fantastic new mugs, then you're getting basically a free month on Patreon. So to check that out, there you go. See you soon.